In this video, we are going to review the concepts that were part of your Unit 5 Anchor project to help you get some points back on your project grade. So let's get started. All right, so question 1, create a real-world problem where you need to solve 12 and 34/100ths plus 9 and 5/10ths. We have a frame here from the sample guide. You had some pounds of sand in your sandbox and put some more pounds in. How many pounds of sand are now in the box? So let's fill in our numbers here, 12 and 34/100ths and 9 and 5/10ths. All right, reminder, so we want to add these together because we want a total amount of sand. All right, we originally had 12 and 34/100ths, and we want to add together 9 and 5/10ths. Reminder, when you are adding or subtracting with decimals, you have to line up the decimal point in the place value. For instance, the tenths place needs to go below the tenths place. So 5/10ths is going to go below the 3/10ths. 9 ones is going to go below the 2 ones, and so on. Since there is no space below that 4, we're going to just put a 0. I'm dotting it because it's technically invisible. Decimal point goes down below. All right, now let's add it up. Start on the right side. 4 plus 0 is 4. 3 plus 5 is 8. 2 plus 9 is 11, so 1 goes down, 1 goes up, and 1 plus 1 is 2. So our total would be 21.84 pounds of sand, because that was what we were looking for. How many pounds are now of sand are in the sandbox? Again, biggest reminder here is line up your place values, tenths on top of tenths, ones on top of ones, and hundredths on top of hundredths. All right, let's keep going. Create a real-world problem where you need to subtract 12 and 6/10ths and 1 and 48/100ths. I took a sentence frame from the sample guide. You have 12 and 6/10ths pounds of jelly beans in a jar, and you ate 1 and 48/10ths. 48/100ths, sorry. All right, so now what we need to do is subtract because it says how many are left. And remember, when we are eating the jelly beans, we're subtracting out the pounds from the jar. Just like with adding and subtracting, we need to line up our place values. So, decimal point here, 1 and 48/100ths below. Double check that the tenths place is on top of the tenths place. 6/10ths and 4/10ths are lined up together. Since there is nothing above the 8, we're going to put an invisible 0 again. All right, now we're going to start subtracting from right to left. We cannot do 0 minus 8, so we need to borrow from the 6. And then the 0 becomes a 10. 10 minus 8 is now 2. 5 minus 4 is 1. Put our decimal point. 2 minus 1 is 1 again. And 1 minus nothing is 1. So we have 11 and 12/100ths pounds of jelly beans in the jar. Again, when you are subtracting, you line up your place values. Tenths on top of tenths, hundredths on top of hundredths. And also, you need to, if you can't subtract the bottom from the top, you need to borrow from the neighbor. A lot of people were not doing that. All right, let's keep going. Create a word problem where you need to solve 2 and 45/100ths times 3 and 2/10ths. All right, again, I copied one from the sample guide. When we want to find area, that is when we multiply. A rectangle has a length of 2 and 45/100ths and a width of 3 and 2/10ths. What is the area? So we need to multiply these two together. I am going to use the grid model because it is tried and true and it works. Since our first number has 3 digits, I'm going to make 3 columns. Second number has 2 digits, so I'm going to make 2 columns. 245 is our first number. 30 and 2 is our second number. All right, now let's start multiplying. 30 times 200 is 6,000. Because 3 times 2 is 6, add the 3 zeros. 3 times 4 is 12, add 2 zeros, so 1,200. 30 times 5 is 15, because 150. Because 3 times 5 is 15, add that 0 for the 30. 2 times 2 is 4, add 2 zeros for the 200. 2 times 4 is 8, add a 0 for the 40. 2 times 5 is 10. Now we're going to add them all up. We have on the top 7,200 plus 150, 7,350 on the top, 400, and then 490 on the bottom. Add all of those up. 0 and 0 is 0, 5 plus 9 is 14. Carry the 1, 1 and 3 is 4, plus 4 is 8, and then 7 and nothing is 7. But we are not done. We need to now make our decimal scoots. We have 2 scoots in the first number, 1 scoot in the second number, so that is 3 scoots total. All right, so let's start at the end. 1, 2, 3. So the area is 7 and 84 hundredths. Sorry about that. We don't need to put the 0 at the end because 84 hundredths and 840 thousandths are the same. All right, let's keep going. How do I get rid of this? There we go. Well, there's the x. Okay. Create a problem where you need to do 120 divided by 2.5. So we're going to say, I took one from the sample doc. A car travels 120 miles in 2.5 hours. What is the car's speed in miles per hour? So we want to go from 2.5 hours down to 1 hour. So we are going to divide by 2.5. All right, I hear sirens coming because the math police are coming after us because there is a decimal on the outside and we cannot have that. So I am going to give it a scoot. In other words, I multiplied the outside value by 10. 2.5 times 10 is 25 to make it a whole number. If I multiply the outside by 10, I also need to multiply the inside by 10. So 120 is going to become 1,200. Now, let's make our division. 25 does not fit into 1. It also does not fit into 12. So now let's count to 100 for 120. 50, 75, 100. 125 is too many, so it's gonna be 4 times. 25 times 4 is 100. Subtract, you get 20. Bring down a 0. Now how many 25s make 200? Let's keep going. I found 200. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. 25 times 8 is 200. Subtract, you get 0. So it would be 48 miles per hour. That's what MPH means, miles per hour. All right, let's keep going. Create a problem where you need to solve 36 and 75 hundredths divided by 1.5. All right, I took a sample from the sample guide. A rectangle has an area of 36 and 75 hundredths square inches and a width of 1.5 inches. What is the length? So we need to divide here because we want to work backwards. We have the area We want to divide by the length to get the width. All right, I have set up my division, but unfortunately we have a decimal on the outside. We cannot have that. So we need to multiply 1.5 by 10 to become 15. And if we multiply the outside by 10, we also need to multiply the inside by 10. So that's going to become 367.5. And then your decimal point goes straight up. All right, 15 does not fit into 3, but it does fit into 36 2 times. 15 times 2 is 30. Subtract, you get 6. Bring down that 7. 15 fits into 67 4 times. 15 times 4 is 60. Subtract, you get 7. Bring down the 5. 15 fits into 75 5 times. 15 times 5 is 75. Subtract, you get 0. So the length was 24.5 inches. Because if you do it backwards, 24.5 times 1.5 would give you the area of 36.75. All right, let's keep going. Choose a fraction with a denominator of 5 to express as a decimal and as a percentage. Okay, so we need a fraction with a denominator of 5. I'm going to choose 4/5. So express as a decimal and a percentage. So to get this as a decimal, we need to divide it out. Reminder, 4/5 means 4 divided by 5. If you remember from our lesson, the numerator always goes on the inside, the denominator on the outside. All right, 5 does not fit into 4, so we're going to put a 0. But we're going to keep the problem going by adding a decimal point and a 0. 5 fits into 40 8 times. 5 times 8 is 40. Subtract, you get 0. So as a decimal, it is 0.8 or 8/10, if you will. So we have done the decimal, but now we need to make a percentage. Percentages, as we know, are out of 100. 8 out of 10 is 80 out of 100, which is 80%. All right, let's keep going. Choose a fraction with a denominator of 8 to express as a decimal and a percentage. I'm going to do 3/8. So what this is really saying is 3 divided by 8. Numerator, or 3, goes on the inside. 8 goes on the outside. All right. 8 does not fit into 3, decimal point and a 0, but it does fit into 30 3 times. 8 times 3 is 24. Subtract, you get 6. Bring down a 0. Now, how many times does 8 fit into 60? Write out your multiples. Oh, that's 32. And it's going to be 7 times. 8 times 7 is 56. Subtract, you get 4. Bring down another 0 to keep it going. 8 fits into 40 5 times. 8 times 5 is 40. Subtract, you get 0. So as a decimal, it is 0.375. That is equal to 375 thousandths. To get a percentage, we want a number out of 100. So we're going to divide by 10. 375 thousandths divided by 10 is 37.5 out of 100, which is 37.5%. All right, last one. Choose a fraction with a denominator of 3 or 9. Let's do 3. All right, I'm going to do 1/3. And so that is really saying 1 divided by 3. 1 on the inside, 3 on the outside. 3 fits into 10 3 times. Remember, because we have to add our decimal point in a 0 because 3 doesn't fit into 1. 3 times 3 is 9. Subtract, you get 1. Bring down a 0. 3 fits into 10 again 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. Subtract, you get 1. Bring down a 0. As you can see, this pattern is going to keep repeating. So we're going to stop there. We can call this about 333 thousandths, which would be 33.3-ish hundredths, which is 33.3%. I put a few dots after just to signal that it keeps going. Also remember, you can put the line over the 3 to show that it repeats. All right, and that takes us to the end. Reminder, as long as you're answering the questions correctly, you can get up to 50 points back on your projects. So thank you for completing this video. Have a great day.